Hi! Yesterday, I tried to post a series of stories about the metaphor that came up in my violin lesson that is pertinent to the post that I just released on the site and also to my newsletter subscribers. Let me turn my music down. So, unfortunately, all of the all but the first story posted. So here's what happened. I'm learning 3 pretty substantial pieces for me on the violin. I do classical violin. I work with a Juilliard trained violinist. And I get given, I think, the workload of a typical bachelor program student, because I'm always working on 3 things at the same time and all of the other stuff. So the other amateur musicians that I know aren't doing that. So it's just maybe the way that my teacher works. Anyway, so I'm in this one part of this piece that I'm learning, and it involves literally trusting your bow to just bounce and let it do its thing without trying to control it. And I find this to be such an interesting thing for me to struggle with, because I left my marriage that had, my spouse was an alcoholic. He's in recovery now, but I just couldn't stay in that dynamic anymore. And there's a lot of issues surrounding trusting things to unfold how they are when you become a codependent in a relationship affected by addiction. So I find it's just such an interesting metaphor for me with the violin, and also with a lot of things revolving around taking care of myself. All the as a generally high achiever, I would rather be working on the things that I'm interested in than sitting and reading a book or relaxing, which is too bad because I love reading and I don't ever really give myself enough time to do those things. So, part of what happens with me is that I overwork, I get very tense, and then I get a migraine, which makes me bedridden for at least one whole day. And that becomes my do nothing time. And that is pretty much what's also happening in my violin right now. I am overworking this part of this piece of music, getting tense, and what happens with the violin is when you just sound terrible. It just doesn't sound right. It sounds tense. It sounds like you're trying to control something that you should just let go and trust will happen. I could feel my left hand on the fingerboard getting all tense. My whole arm holding the bow was super tense. I mean, I could even feel my bicep getting all tensed up with it. And it just made me laugh so much when my teacher said, you just need to relax and trust that the bow knows what to do and is going to do what you need it to do, and you just have to show up. And that's a big lesson that I'm learning in my life right now. And it ripples in beyond health things with with my migraines into the stuff with my Hashimoto's, because I would absolutely love to just eat and live the way other people eat and live. I would love to, be able to treat myself to pizza every once in a while, or pastries or something like that. But if I do, I'm sick for days and days and days. So I kind of have to let go the idea that I can control the outcome of my autoimmune condition, and know that I'm just doing the best that I can with what I have to work with. And I don't know, it's not quite the same, but I feel like it all fits into the same pattern of just like letting things be as they are and relaxing around it instead of trying to force things to be the way that we want them to be. And I mean, that's a big thing in Al-Anon and ACOA is like we want to force solutions when most of the time all we need to do is just like step back, take a step back, and just trust and let things unfold. And it comes up in with my violin so much. It is just like it blows my mind how much this hobby of mine reveals, in a different way, all the things that I'm working on in the moment. And my query for my readers for the blog post and also for my newsletter subscribers is, my body was telling me that I needed to like step back and rest and not try to do it all by sending me the message with a giant migraine that left me bedridden all day. So my query for you is, what messages is your body sending you that you're saying, I need to get rid of this? Because if I get rid of this, then I'll be able to do X, Y, Z, whatever. And then in the sense of I can't do the thing that I want to do because I need to do all these other things. So I can't sit down and relax because I have too much work to do. Or I need to get this done, or I need to get that done. I can't go and bring a blanket and lay in the park and read a book for an hour or two because I have too much to do at home. And, that's cultural conditioning for me and for a lot of people. And where work is more valued than living, essentially. And, the body responds to me by giving me a migraine. So how does your body respond to you? That's the question. And if you can hear your body telling you these things, what are you doing to say, body, your wish is my command? You're telling me that this is what's going on. I will do what I need to do to take care of you. So those are the two things. And if you want to read a little bit more about this, you can go to the website and click on blog, or you can just go to tughillholistics.com/blog and you'll get the whole blog roll, all that good stuff. Or you can sign up for my newsletter. I think the link is in my profile. And when you sign up for the newsletter, I send you my simplified recipe for the rose, cardamom, orange, black sesame truffles that are very delicious and nourishing for the blood. And you can add extra herbs and things like that if you want. I might do a class on how to make it one day. Maybe I'll do that. Because they're not the easiest things to make because you have to get things just right. Anyway, so some herbs to help us relax into ourselves so we can hear what our bodies are saying. Because if we're always stuck up in our head thinking, working, doing, then we can't really hear our bodies. So some things that we can do to sink back into our bodies with both herbs and I'm not saying meditation, but like with body awareness. So you can lay down on your couch or on your bed or on the floor or sit in a comfortable chair. Put your hands on your lap or on your belly and close your eyes. Get comfortable. Take a few deep breaths, and then you can do a body scan and just bring your awareness to each part of your body, at the top of your head, then your forehead, and then around your head, and then your eyes and eyebrows. How do they feel? Are they tense here? Mine are always tense right here, always. So you can send some loving energy there and say, you can relax. It's okay. You're safe. Take a couple of deep breaths into those tense areas and then move to the next part. How are your ears? Are you holding your ears up? Sometimes I hold my ears up or pull them back. How do your ears feel? If they're tense, do the same things. Tell through your heart, tell your ears, we're safe, It's okay. You can relax. Send a couple, 3, 4 breaths and uplifting, relaxing energy to that place. And by uplifting, relaxing energy, I mean how you feel when you are, for me, it's like when I'm outside. I just take a deep breath and I look around and I go, oh, yes. That's the kind of energy. So you're going to do that through your whole body, down your neck, your shoulders, your arms all the way to your fingertips. You're going to do your whole torso and back, your butt, your legs, your knees, your calves, your ankles, your feet, and your toes. And then when you're done, you can kind of wiggle your toes and wiggle your fingers. Keep your eyes closed. And then slowly bring yourself back into your body. Some people call this a body scan. I think there's a term in yoga for this. Maybe it's yoga nidra. I don't remember. I'm not a yoga person anymore, so I've forgotten a lot of this stuff. But this is all from all the somatic therapeutic work that I've done the past few years. And so you can do that as a non-herbal option. And then herbal options, my favorites right now are wood betony, especially if there's digestive stuff and if you have really trouble grounding yourself. Wood betony is perfect. So you can make a tea of that. It tastes lovely. You can add your milk of choice and a little bit of honey or sugar or whatever your sweetener of choice is to it to, just really enjoy the flavor of it. You can, and that's just 1 teaspoon in a 8-10 ounce cup of water. So you can use an infuser, or what I do is I put it in a small French press and let it steep, and then I can press out the liquid and then pour it into my mug. That's what I do. You can use skullcap. That won't make you too sleepy during the day. I love passion flower, but it makes me really, really sleepy, so I can't do passion flower during the day. But at night, passion flower is great. I am always in love with rose and albizia, these very sweet, dare I say, succulent herbs, in that they really make your heart feel nourished and you feel just like that warm, juicy glow inside. So a good blend that you could make if you have the herbs on hand would be rose, albizia flower, and a little bit of wood betony, and then sweeten it with honey. And then if you wanted to add milk, you can. I've been adding a little bit of milk to my green tea lately, and it's been a nice change. I drink green tea instead of coffee because coffee's a migraine trigger. Yay! So that's what I would be drinking for me. Now, other people might do really well by taking adaptogens like ashwagandha and rhodiola, things like that, but I actually don't do super well on adaptogens. The only one that I can take is Luthro, and that tends to be a little more supportive of the qi and yang function of the body. So it's not really going to relax you, but it will, if you feel tired and wired, especially wired at night but tired during the day. I'm playing with a Luthero, which is something that I also wrote about recently in a newsletter. And it will help because it helps with the tired during the day. You want to make sure you take your Luthero in the morning, like 11, 12, or noon, like now. And this way you get, instead of having to go for that cup of coffee at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you have the Eleuthero in your system supporting your body, and then you just make sure you have a really good snack after, at that time that's like high in protein and healthy fats. And what I'll usually do is I'll have like a little bit of a vegetable with some kind of protein. I'm not vegetarian. I totally support people who want to be vegetarian and vegan, but it does not work for me and my body. I've tried it. I promise. I swear I've done it all. I've done it all right, and it just doesn't work for me. So what I'll do is I'll have like a teeny tiny bit of meat and a little bit of vegetable as like a sort of like mini meal, and it's just a tiny bit, like it's mostly vegetable and just a little bit of meat to carry me through until dinner time. And that works really, really well for me, especially if I'm feeling a lot of swings in energy levels, which is very typical when you have a thyroid condition that's on the hypo side, and especially autoimmune, because you can swing between being hypo and hyperthyroid, depending on the amount of inflammation in your body and what's happening in your life, yada, yada, yada. So maybe I'll do something on this another time about my experience with this, but I'm not an expert in all the physiology of what happens with Hashimoto's autoimmune. I just know with like, I feel like every situation is different with autoimmune conditions, but there are things that you can do to help make things easier. And I feel like all these lessons are applicable to people who do not have autoimmune conditions, which is why I share them with you. So get yourself into your body, drink your wood betony tea, do wood betony, skullcap, albizia, and rose with each other. It'd be really nice. And you can put a few drops of lobelia tincture in. I love lobelia because it really re-regulates the nervous system. And it's just a very intelligent herb in that it knows how to re-regulate the nervous system. So if I'm having like a headache that nothing is helping, I usually turn to lobelia, and it calms everything enough that I get clarity on what I need to do next. And lobelia is not really talked about as working in that way, but it was a very, very, very popular herb with like, I think the eclectics and Dr. Christopher, and now it's mostly used for respiratory issues, but I think it is just wonderful for the nervous system, especially for those of us who go through a lot of, with all the changes that we have to go through in life. Lobelia is really adaptable in that way, and and lobelia grows in disturbed soil. So think about that a little bit. If you feel that there's a lot of disruption in your life and you can't get back settled into your body, lobelia might be the herb for you. It's a low dose herb, so get it as a tincture and start with 2 drops. See how you feel. Do another 2 drops. Don't do more than 12 because it might make you vomit, because it readjusts everything in here. So it is an emetic if you take too much. But if you take just the right amount, you can just feel everything in your body just kind of like reset. It's really cool. So, yeah, that's my spiel today. And and the last bits of this post, the query part, all this stuff is extra from add-on from yesterday's failed stories. So, yeah, I hope you get something out of this. I'm really big on picking up patterns and working with the patterns that are present and seeing where where else they show up in life, and just becoming aware of that so you can say, oh, that's the pattern I have. Oh, yeah. I know I need to, okay, I've got to do have more, a lot of the times it's more self-discipline around how you respond to the pattern. So it's kind of like just being aware of that stuff. So I hope you guys have a really good weekend, and gals and folks. And I am enjoying the warm weather. So hopefully I'll have good deck updates for you very soon. I'm waiting for some of my beans to pop out of my big planter pot. So when they come up, I'll do another deck tour. All right. Another Shaw goodbye where I say goodbye 3 times and I keep talking. Everybody in my family does that. Everybody in my family does this. So maybe that's a pattern I need to learn how to break too, huh? All right. Off I go. Off you go. Be well.